Hi, welcome to Short Film Showcase. I'm your host, Mike Messier, and this is where we feature the very best short films and filmmakers and actors right here from New England. Right now is our very first guest, Christine Hunt.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, Christine. Welcome to this episode of Short Film Showcase. We want to start the show with a bang with you as our first guest, so thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited.
Great. I caught you recently in a film called Capture, directed by a friend of mine, Kate Carson.
Yep.
This starred yourself, a gentleman named Briggon Snow, and a lady playing your cousin, Nicole Tricon. Did I have that right?
Yes, you do.
Really strong cast.
Yes, it was a great cast. We also had Reza Breakstone in that movie as well.
Okay.
It was a great experience. We got to shoot on an island off of the coast of Maine, Long Island, Maine.
Yes.
We were there for almost a week, and it was a very intense shoot. We started off with a night schedule where we had to shoot overnight into the morning, and then on day 3 or 4, I believe, we had to switch to day shoots, just because, you know, the storyline, it worked out that way. But we had to do our own stunts. There was a tarantula involved that was placed on me.
Wow. Well, tarantula.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my body. Yeah.
And that was a real tarantula?
It was real.
Was it a union tarantula? Just a joke.
I don't know,
I
actually.
don't know if it's a tarantula. All right, good. So that must have been pretty scary.
You know, it was really intense. The guy that played the creep in the movie, his name in the movie was Dalen, by Briggon Snow played that part. He was terrified of spiders as well, but he had to actually pick up the spider and place it on me. So we really had to trust each other in that moment.
And trust the spider.
Yeah, and trust the spider. So there was a point where it got really intense because the spider was getting irritated, and tarantulas, they shoot out these little pokey things, kind of as a warning, before they kind of stand up and go to bite you. And it shot those things out, and because I could feel them in my nightgown afterwards.
Wow.
But you know, it was awesome. Yeah, we had a great time.
Wow. That's dedication.
It was, you know, I saw the character description when it was posted for auditioning, and one of the things it specified was you had to be comfortable with spiders.
Oh, wow.
And I, you know, even though I didn't like spiders, I really believed in the role, and I really wanted the part. It was my first lead in a feature film, so it really had my, you know, goals set high. And I was like, you know, I'll overcome that fear because I believe in this film. I believe in the storyline. I really wanted to work with Kate Carson.
Yes.
And I knew the quality of the film was going to be great. The experience was going to be great, you know, and I got cast. So
wonderful.
I overcame a lot of fears. So.
And have you been studying acting in school and college, or outside of college system or high school? You know what I mean?
Well, I started off in theater, actually, and I had some experience as a writer. I wrote some plays and directed them, and starred in one of them. And that was my first taste of acting, being involved in that way. It was terrifying, but it was very fulfilling. Just the whole creative process, from idea to, you know, script, casting, you know, your cast, and seeing the production. It was just so fulfilling. So that's where I started, and then I was hosting for a local cable access show in the town I lived in.
Sure, don't take my job.
Yeah. And that was a lot of fun, and I was Mrs. New Hampshire at the time as well,
cool.
Mrs. New Hampshire 2008.
Because I was the runner-up in that.
You were?
No.
Oh, you know, I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah, I was coveting your crown.
Well, if you ever need tips, let me know.
All right, it's a blush. Yeah.
So yeah, I, you know, had some experience in front of the camera, and I was encouraged to get into acting, and I gave it a shot, and I fell in love and just kept going. And you know, I got training with some, you know, took some classes, got some private coaching, and just, you know, the experience on being on set and just studying, you know, and just you develop your craft over time and developed a, you know, love for it. So.
Do you have any inspirations for acting? Any acting coaches or books that you've read, or actresses or actors that you really enjoy, that you say, wow, you know, this is why I'm here?
Well, you know, there's a lot of amazing actors. One actress that really stuck out to me was Ellen Burstyn.
Okay.
And you know, she's an older actress, but her range is amazing, and she plays some really crazy roles. And I read a biography on her, and she actually at one time lost her mind for a little while.
Oh, wow.
And in her biography, she coped by singing Zippity Doodah over and over again. And I don't know why that really touched me, but for someone that loses their mind and comes back and is able to act again, I was like, hey, I think I can do that.
And she had a nervous breakdown?
Yeah, it was a nervous
Oh, that's too
breakdown.
bad.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that, you know, as human beings, not that everyone has to go through a hard time, but I think that when you do go through things in life, it gives you more depth of character. And I've had my share of, you know, hard times, and, you know, I think as an actress I can really pull on that.
Right.
Not that I necessarily have to go back there, but I, you know, can understand, you know, hardship and, you know, just, you know, myself better, you know,
Right.
because, you know, when you come to those times where you're on your knees and there's nowhere to go but up, you kind of, you know, can understand people better, and, you know, I don't know, that's just my experience. So.
Yeah, the empathy,
Yeah.
sympathy for the human condition.
Yeah.
The emotional content, I think, is what I'm understanding from what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's good.
And, you know, just understanding, you know, what makes a person and, you know, their flaws, their strengths, you know. And I tend to really like those serious roles, so I hope to have more opportunities to kind of flex my muscles in those areas.
That's
so,
terrific.
yeah.
And without saying your age, you're a young woman. You know,
you.
and that's one thing that actors should realize out there is that you don't have to give your age, because it's not the age, it's the age range.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you could play, you know, not you specifically, but an actor could play from 25 to 35, and that actor could be cast in roles anywhere in that range. And
Yep.
so when you go into an open casting call, or even a selection-only casting call, like a pre-arranged interview for a part, what do you think as the actor that they're looking for you? Is the first part of the question. It's a two-part question.
Okay.
What do you think that they want from you to get the role when you audition?
What I think they want from me. Well, I mean, I think a lot goes in the selection of, you know, when you're casting for a role. Sometimes there's a preconceived idea of what they're looking for,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that has to stay that way. You can go in there and surprise them. I think it's really understanding your interpretation of the character. You can get some, you know, guidelines and some pointers, but I think it's really the way you put the flesh on the character that they're writing in the script, and deliver it in a believable way, you know, and also to be able to take direction in the audition, I think is really important. And I personally like it when I can go into audition, do my thing, and then they ask you, okay, can you do it this way? And
Right.
you're able to adjust and show them that you, one, can take direction, you could show them that you have some range, and that you can definitely morph into the character. So.
Well, when you're looking at projects to possibly do, if you're on, you know, our friends at NewEnglandFilm.com or the Hollywood East Actors group on the Facebook, local New England casting groups, and across the country there's other Facebook groups, and even Backstage West, that type of thing. And you're saying, well, geez, I want to audition for something this week or today.
Yep.
And you have 5 or 10 things that you could possibly audition for, but not enough time to do every single one. How do you, as an actor, make your choice, you know, to which projects are you attracted to?
Well, I mean, there's definitely a few things that go into the thought process. Is one, does the role, am I attracted to that role?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a challenge? I definitely like to take on a challenge. I can easily get cast as the pretty girl next door, or, you know, the mom sometimes, you know, but, you know, if I see something that really intrigues me, it's usually challenging, and it's out of my comfort zone.
Right.
Because if you're always playing the same parts, you know, you're never really going to grow as an actor. So one, I look for that, definitely, you know, a challenge. I also look at who's directing it,
Sure.
and do some research on them, you know,
Yeah.
because I want to make sure, you know, I'm working for a good, you know, production crew, director, you know, what has he or she been involved in,
Right.
what other actors have they worked with, you know. So I actually do, it's not just the role, I do some you know, research, you know, because I don't want to waste their time, and I don't want to waste my time either, you know. So I definitely am a selective audition picker, I guess you can say.
No, that's good.
You know.
Because when I was first starting out, using my case as a case study, so to speak, I would just do anything. I'd do student films or
Yeah.
crazy stuff in CD bars. Not too crazy, not
Yeah.
too CD. I'd do some projects that were a little weird.
I have
know?
a story about CD Bar,
Let's
actually.
have a story. Let's have a story.
You know, of course, when you first get started in acting, your ultimate goal is to get your first speaking role.
Right.
Even if it's just like, hey,
Yeah, here I
or
am.
hi, I'm Sarah, or just you want that first speaking role so you can put something on your resume. You can say, an audition, what have you done, and you can actually say you're more than an extra.
Right.
So I was, going for, those, just to get my first speaking role, auditioning like crazy, but I was like, eventually you're gonna hit it. So my first role, I played in a seedy bar,
Yeah.
and I had a few lines, and I played that, cute girl at the bar, and it was definitely a sketchy bar. And my co-star played a really sketchy character, Ned Scannell. It was in the movie The Rude, the Mad, and the Funny.
Okay.
Artie Wahlberg was in that as well, and Chris Brandy, I believe his name was.
Okay.
And yeah, it was fun. It was a fun way to kind of get my career started, and I was so thrilled when I got cast in it. I felt like I won the lottery.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah.
All types of projects in New England are taking off.
Yeah.
And that was based out of, which one, where was that based out of, you said?
We were in Massachusetts. I can't remember where, but it was
Yeah.
definitely deep into Massachusetts.
Massachusetts is kind of a big state.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of towns in Massachusetts that begin with the letter W.
Oh,
There's Walpole, Worcester,
yep.
Webster, Waltham. They all sound like southern stepchildren to me.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Waltham,
actually.
get off your sister. Walpole, go to sleep. These are the jokes, Christine. That's all I got.
What about Seekonk, though? We're in Seekonk.
Seekonk, that's a nice
I've
town.
never heard of that before. I thought it was actually a joke when
gee.
the address was sent to
Well,
me.
we apologize to the people of Seekonk, sorry. But no, Seekonk's a great town. We like it here.
Yeah, no, it looks nice, definitely.
Now, have you done anything in the state that I live in, Rhode Island? Have you visited ours at all?
I have, actually. I know I've auditioned there quite a few times.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever shot a film there, though. But I know there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of films being shot, and
Yeah.
a lot of plays, and great writers. Yeah.
Well, we'd love to have you in something,
Thank you.
Come on down.
Yeah.
Looking at your IMDb page, and you do have an IMDb page if people want to look up Christine Hunt on
Yep.
IMDb. Do you have a personal website or a Facebook
I don't.
page?
I have a Facebook page,
Okay.
facebook.com/Christine Hunt Actress.
Okay, great.
And my IMDb is IMDb. Is it .me? Yes, .me/Christine Hunt.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So looking at your page, a project that sounds pretty interesting was Polypore.
Yeah.
And how did you get involved in that?
That was another audition that I got a part for. They were looking for a foreign escort, high-class call girl.
Sure.
And I am half Turkish, and
Oh,
I
okay.
speak Turkish, so it worked out great for me because they wanted me to help them write my portion of the
Oh,
script
okay.
in
In Turkish,
Turkish,
yeah, yeah.
and also teach my co-star, which is Marshall Berenson. He's a Boston-based actor. His lines in Turkish.
Wow.
So it was really interesting. And then I had to have an accent when I spoke English.
Oh, man.
And so,
Yeah.
which was fine because my mom has a really heavy accent, so I just kind of hung out with her and, listened to her to see how I would develop my accent. And so the first time that me and Marshall met was on Skype. He was vacationing, I think in, I don't know, maybe Aruba or something. And
Right.
we Skyped and we did our lines. I taught him his lines in Turkish, and it was a lot of fun. So
It's interesting how the new multimedia programs like Skype and other things and Facebook pages, you can actually even co-act or rehearse at least through
Yeah,
Skype, or
definitely.
you can. I'm working on a project where I'm kind of directing from a distance with the Facebook information, and just it's interesting how the evolution of technology is helping some of this process.
Yeah, it really is, definitely. I mean, yeah, to be able to meet your co-star and rehearse before actually meeting in person is really helpful, especially, in New England, not all of us live in Boston,
Right.
So I live in New Hampshire, some of us live in Rhode Island, so, it really kind of gives us a jump start, I think, and helps us connect,
Yes.
in more ways, so.
Let's open this up a little bit. If
Yeah.
if you're taking on a character, let's take Capture. You had a leading role, one of 3 leading roles we can say.
Yeah.
How would you get the script and you look at it? Do you start memorizing your lines first? Do you start developing your character? Do you wait from direction from Kate, in that case, as the director? What's your process, real quick?
Well, I definitely talk to the director because, I want to know what the director's vision is, and if you can, talk to the writer if the director is not the writer as well. And understanding this was a timepiece, so it was based in the 1970s. So understanding that culture, I did a lot of research on the 70s, and it was the early 70s, so that was fun, just having a history lesson in that, watching movies from the 70s, clips, studying on the youth of that time because I played a college-age girl in that movie. The topics we discussed in the movie, we talked about the war and, what was the news of that time,
Right.
So there's definitely a lot of character research. And then who am I, what makes me tick, what are my issues, my fears,
Right.
why am I annoyed with my parents, what's my relationship to my cousin, and what kind of history do we have there, what kind of quirks do we have together, and so I love that part of getting ready for a role is that character development where you're just you start with the foundation and just build up, and, and you can go as deep as you want, and then you learn the lines.
So script analysis, character development.
Yeah.
The To Get You To says one of the acting books by Ivana Chubbuck. I don't know if you've read that one.
No,
or
I
not.
haven't,
It's a
actually.
nice one, The Power of the Actor by Ivana Chubbuck. She
Okay.
talks about the To Get You To's. I want you to do something, you want me to do something, and the script is a way of manipulating each other into
Yeah.
progressing the story.
Yep.
Motivations, it's been called, all that good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so just terrific what you're saying.
Yeah.
We're running out of time, but what
We
would you
are,
like
really?
to? Yeah, it's been a quick 17 minutes.
Yeah.
We've had a great interview, and what would you like to say to people that are watching Short Film Showcase, getting to know Christine Hunt from New Hampshire as she takes off with her career? What do you want them to leave with from this interview?
Well, I think that anyone can have a dream, and if it's acting, I like to say it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of dedication, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a craft that you can develop over time, and it's so fulfilling. So I guess I would say that maybe those actors that are just getting started or thinking about getting started, New England is a great place to do it. There's so many films being made. There's a lot of whether it's student films, and I did student films as well, and I still will. If I see something I believe in, I'll do it.
Right.
I think it's just a great opportunity to really just kind of flex your wings and flap them.
That's great. Well,
So.
you're welcome back on our show anytime.
Thank you.
We'd love to have you later on in the year as we progress with Short Film Showcase.
Great.
So Christine Hunt, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
Right now on the Short Film Showcase, we'd like to take a look at a short film from our next guest. It's called Cat Scratch, right here on Short Film Showcase.
Do you want to buy insurance? Hello. Hi. Would you like to buy some insurance today? I can assure you, you'll need it. Stop. Hi, I'm Jeff. What if you're dead? Think about it, seriously. What if you were dead? Think about it. If you're dead, death could happen to you at any minute, any minute. Think about it. It's 2012, okay? Mayans, all right? We've got earthquakes, volcanoes. Satellites have been falling out of the sky like crazy recently. I mean, granted, in oceans, but you don't know. You're gonna be on a cruise. East Coast is bound for a nasty earthquake, at least in the next 5, it could be months. That wife of yours, those kids, death the second you walk out your front door. Boom.
Hey, kitty.
Hey, well, I might as well make your week, huh?
Hey, oh, you Mr. Kitty. Hey, Mr. Kitty, Tiger Kitty. Yes, who's a friendly little Mr. Kitty cat. Oh, it's a little tiger. Look at you, soft. Oh, Mr. Scruffleface. Yes, you Mr. Tiger Scruffleface. You're a kitty.
Hey, hey! Jesus. Stupid cat, what's wrong with you? Good morning.
The timesheets need to be signed right now. Oh my god, is that a snake bite?
Just a cat.
Was it an outdoor cat?
I don't know. You need to sign this one.
I'll use my own pen, thanks.
Okay. No! This deal's a lock. It's guaranteed win-win, man.
Well, you haven't steered me wrong before. I'll go for it.
You're a smart man. How about this? Let's celebrate on the links on Thursday.
That sounds good, man. I haven't played golf in so long.
Can you hold on a second? Thanks.
All right.
There's something wrong with my secretary. Like, clinically.
Hey,
Hey,
are you a doctor?
I know. I'm a certified nurse's assistant.
Oh,
Seriously?
Just let me see your hand. Whoa. Yeah, if you get bit or scratched, you should definitely see if it's had its shots.
It's just a cat bite. It's not like a red mongoose or anything. It's fine.
Now it's fine. In 9 days, might not be.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What happens in 9 days?
Shoot. I gotta go.
No, hey, what happens in 9 days? Hi.
hi.
Hey, I live next door, and your cat bit me the other day.
Oh, he's not our cat.
Yes, it is. He's right there.
Miguel lives with us, but we don't believe that you can actually own a cat.
Or any other sentient being, for that matter. Dogs, cats, they're our companions, our life partners, our fellow Earth travelers, if you will.
Okay. Does your roommate, Miguel, have his rabies shots?
We asked Miguel if he wanted to get vaccinated.
His eyes said no.
Oh, I don't mean to be rude, but we were just in the middle of returning something to the Earth.
It's not recycle day.
Oh, Miguel gifted us with a deceased squirrel. So we were going to return it to Gaia, Mother Earth.
But do you think we could ask? Do you think we could ask Miguel again, maybe one more time, just what he thinks about the rabies shots? That's animal abuse. I'm just next door.
You don't have kids, right? But trust me, you will someday. You'll find the right girl. You'll settle down. You'll have kids. And at first, those kids are gonna think that you're like a combination of Batman, Jesus, Muhammad. You know, the smartest guy on the planet. You can do no wrong. You're a superhero. You can lift up cars with one hand. You can talk about, and everything's
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah,
And then
yep.
they get old, particularly 16 and a half, with a full set of braces that cost me $15,000.
Yeah, yeah,
And pretty
yeah,
soon,
yeah,
you realize
yeah.
you're not Batman, you're not
Yeah.
Superman, you're not even a good dad anymore. You're just a big old schlump who gets drunk every Friday and embarrasses everybody with farting noises. And, hey, you there? Hey, look, you're hearing me, right?
So can I just bring this cat in for a test?
Oh no, you gotta quarantine it. The owner's gotta keep it inside the house until the 9 days are up. You don't want the cat going out into the woods and dying. That way you won't know it's rabid until...
But the chances of it having rabies are pretty slim, right?
Oh yeah, 1 in a million. That is, unless it's a squirreler. Nasty outbreak with them these days. What's the address?
Supposed to be leaving that cat in the house.
Well, Miguel went out to find his muse, but we'll let him know that you called.
Bait. So if I get bait, cheese, peanut butter, cheese. Kitty! I can come up and get you if you're up there, you little bitch. Meow! Meow! Where's your kitty friend? Where's your kitty friend? Where is it? Where's... Kitty! You hiding your little hiding games? Come here, kitty. Come to me, kitty. Miguel, amigo. I wanted to help you. I wanted to come out. I wanted to help you find your muse. You want to do that, kitty? We can do that. We can talk. We can talk all night. Come here, you little son of a... Miguel? You're alive. So I'm alive. You're alive. We're alive. We're alive, buddy. Oh, God. Oh, God, Miguel. Oh, Miguel. Oh, Miguel. Oh, Miguel. Oh my God, I'm so glad to see you. No, Miguel, come back. Come here, come here. Miguel, come here. Miguel, I'm sorry. We gotta get inside. I've got tuna in the house. We can sit down. It's very, very cold out here. Okay, Miguel? You shouldn't be outside in this. Come on. Come on. Yeah, come on. Come on, bud. Come on. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You're a good boy. God damn it! Son of a... Oh.
He's a beautiful kitty, a butterfur kitty, a purrful kitty, 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 yeah, yeah. He's all whiskers and snots. Has he had all his shots? He's around here a lot. Kitty, kitty, yeah, yeah.
Welcome back to Short Film Showcase. You just saw Cat Scratch. Right now, we want to introduce the director of Cat Scratch, Christian de Resendez. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Close.
Close enough. Close enough. Close enough.
I always, we have a running joke.
Yeah.
But I've known you for 15 years.
But you can't say my name.
I can't say your name.
I'm gonna get a big frame for you. I'm gonna hang it over your bed. It's just
Right.
gonna have my name there.
I already
so
have
every
it.
morning you get up, you already have it.
It's already there.
Damn. Okay. Wow.
What is the proper pronunciation that you like?
De Resendez.
Okay, very good. All right, good.
What you just said. Except a lot faster.
And I've known you for a while. You and I share a good friend, Tim Labonte.
Yep.
A collaborator of both of ours, and you and Tim have done a lot of work together.
Mhm.
And what because he's been on our show before.
Mhm.
And what is a project that you've worked with Tim on, just as a segue?
Well, there are quite a few. Well, Cat Scratch, Tim helped us with lighting and stuff on that, but he also is in it briefly at the bar.
Right.
That's the only thing I've ever done with him as an actor. Raising Maddie Christian was a documentary we just did. He helped me on that with camera. Memories for Sale, another short. He was assistant editor. And there are more. So, you know, Tim and I go back a while. He's a great guy, and it's a lot of fun to work with him.
And with Tim or with a lot of people in New England and other film areas, it's just that you wear a lot of different hats.
Mhm.
You know, and yourself, writer, director, editor, you've made narrative films, you've made documentaries. I remember going way back, you made a Dogma 95 type of film? Going
I
way,
tried
way
to,
back. Yeah. How was that? That was called...
Getting Out of Rhode Island.
And how was that? And we were here in Seekonk, Mass, so we've succeeded.
So we've succeeded, yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah, yeah.
And how was that project? And for those that don't know Dogma 95, that was kind of a... explain that a little bit.
Well, it was just there wasn't really anything new about it. It was just regurgitated information, but it was more of a challenge at the time to get filmmakers to work with incredibly raw conventions,
right?
And sort of be in the here and the now and all of that, and have a very raw kind of a look to a movie. And so I really kind of liked that. And at the time, they were employing a lot of video cameras, like low-grade mini DV stuff like that. That had come out of Denmark. The Celebration was a film by Tom Vinterberg that went on to win Cannes. So I think that you know, I really wanted to employ that, and Getting Out of Rhode Island was a shot in 2.5 hours. It was a fully improvised party in my house. So with a plot, it was laid out, you know, but it was really, really quite raw. And I think at the time I wanted to prove that I could do something like that and sort of keep it real.
Film Threat liked this movie a lot, didn't it?
Film Threat did. I find that it's a movie, if you Google some reviews, you'll find 4-star reviews or 1-star reviews. You won't find anything in the middle, which is kind of a good thing.
Right.
But if you go searching a little more, you'll probably find more 1-star reviews. And I think it just pissed a lot of people off. It just, you know, and there's a lot of stuff that you can go back, you know, you always want to go back and change things you could have done better, so.
It's progress, it's evolution of an artist.
Right, right.
I mean, moving forward, a piece that that I really liked a lot was 41, and that was a documentary told in a very, I thought, unique and prolific way about the unfortunate, tragic station fire. The youngest victim on that fire, I believe his name was Nicky O'Neill.
Nick O'Neill, yeah.
And it was just a really powerful film that I believe got you some distribution, but more importantly affected a lot of people, you know, just really touch them.
Yeah, and actually it's on iTunes now if you go there. Not to be confused with the George Bush documentary that HBO did called 41.
Okay.
Just kind of funny. Yeah, it's about the youngest victim of the station nightclub fire, Nick O'Neill, and his obsession with the number 41.
Right.
And, you know, how this sort of was there his whole life and what it came to mean after his passing. And also the fact that he had written a play before he died that was almost discarded about teens who die and become angels. So he was very prophetic in a lot of ways that are kind of undeniable when you stack up all the evidence and you know.
Of this young man's life.
Yeah.
Was it called They Walk Among Us? Was that what it was called? Okay. And
yes, that was the name of the play.
And did you also document that play into, was that your work that was the play documentary?
Well, it wasn't a documentary. The play, what we did was for the 2nd anniversary, they hired me to shoot and edit a play version of it.
Right.
And so we kind of did, I guess at the time, you know, there was a Von Trier film out called Dogville.
Yeah, I like that movie. Nicole came in and she was drawing the chalk.
Right, there were chalk lines and I remember looking at that and talking to Chris O'Neill, Nick's brother and the director of the play, saying, okay, we could do this on the stage and keep it real to some degree. And so that's what we did, and we really went through great efforts to make it feel as if you know, the whole thing was tribute based.
It's a piece that people outside of New England may or may not have seen, but if they want to see it, they would go to iTunes to see it?
It's on iTunes. You can also get it on DVD. It's available on Amazon and Next.com, N-E-H-S-T.
Yes.
Where people can get it there as well.
There's some good people with that company, from what I remember. Yeah. So now, keeping with that human condition type of story that you're known for, Raising Matty Christian. We're going to see the teaser a little bit later. Tell us about that piece.
Well, Raising Matty Christian's a feature-length documentary that was just completed. The trailer premiered about 10 days ago, and we've gotten a ton of hits on YouTube since then. And it's about the life of Matthew G. Christian from Canton, Massachusetts, who was born without a full set of limbs and without a tongue. And his mother actually had a ton of footage. This is very similar to 41 in one sense, in that there was a ton of home movie footage so that they could go back and we could go back and see. And you know, so much of it revealed a lot about his upbringing and how his parents challenged him to work with his limitations to fit in. And it's a really pretty inspirational story. He broke world records with swimming in the Paralympics. He wrestled on the Bryant University wrestling team without prosthetics. Got his bachelor's, got his master's. I mean, he did so much in the 25 years he was here. So it's quite an inspiring story.
How did you get involved in that piece? How did you?
I have a friend named Paul Plotkin who is from Southern Rhode Island, and he was hired by the family to convert old home movies to DVD.
Okay.
And he was told about, you know, you're going to be seeing this kid without arms and legs just grow up. And he's like, okay. But I think Paul was unexpectedly kind of really moved by it, like really stunned. And he was like, he felt there was a movie there. And so he called me up and he was like, you know, I just learned about this, and would you be interested in making the film if they want to do it? And I said, I would look into it. I'd be open to it, sure.
Right.
And about a year and a half went by, and finally I was put in touch with the family, his parents, and they really wanted it. And but even before that, Paul came to my house and said, watch this, and I put in the DVD, and I was like, okay, yeah. It was, you know, quite, and actually the first image I saw of him is the image that opens the film.
Right.
So I had to do that because I knew that if that was my way in, that would be the audience's way in.
And that's a perspective, the personal perspective of the filmmaker, which you're sharing with the audience. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Subliminally.
Well, I mean,
just
you know, there's all types of movies that are successful. There's your traditional multiplex fare, you know, your Transformers 3 type of deal, and then there's the personal film that I like. A lot of people out watching our show probably like the personal film. And as a filmmaker, you're kind of, by doing that device, you're kind of putting yourself into the audience's chair, watching alongside the audience, saying, this is how I saw this young man, and now you're going to see him as I did, and your reaction might be different than mine, but here's the ride, let's go on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. What, as a filmmaker, do you aspire to achieve?
Oh, that's a large question.
I know.
Well, one thing that I love to do is just to challenge myself and show the range of what I can do as a documentary filmmaker and as a narrative filmmaker. So, you know, Cat Scratch doesn't look like Memories for Sale. Memories for Sale doesn't look like Raising Matty Christian. And the other films coming up are different as well. And so I really try to do, I really try to make 180-degree turns from film to film. So that's one thing. The other thing is to make it seem seamless enough to make it feel as if you're experiencing something more naturally and not feel as if there's actually a director there. But I'm a long way off from that.
Some films that I see them that you can tell that they put a lot of time and effort into the shot. And it's like, oh, okay, they wanted that long dolly shot. They wanted that close-up into the eyeball. And sometimes those devices are great. I mean, Citizen Kane blew the socks off everybody eventually because it had all these new devices. But what do you think of that? Do you like when a filmmaker will put so much time into the technical aspects, or do you prefer the storytelling, just telling the story? Or
I like it all, but it has to balance out. I mean, everything has to have a reason or a point.
Right.
Everything has to move something forward, even if it's experiential, because you can't, you know, say like a film is too long just because it feels too long. If a film is meant to be really long and feel experienced, then, you know, fill that experience. You know, as far as like preferring a really dynamic shot to something that's simpler, it just depends on how it's broken down.
Yeah.
What is the emphasis you're trying to achieve with the shot or the cut? How are you trying to make the audience feel? What information are you trying to give them? You know, so there are a lot of answers that go into that add up to something.
Every project's different.
Exactly.
You made a project, if looking, your IMDb page is about 4 or 5 pages. I think we're in the 5th page. But I believe you made a movie about your own grandma.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit, that experience.
Oh, that was a while ago. I shot it in 1995, the majority of it, and then interviews throughout, and it took a while to do it. Tom Ohanian, who created The Avid Media Composer with Michael Phillips, he won the Oscar for it. He was a wonderful advisor to me on that, and he taught me how to use the Avid. It was the only time I've used it. Big learning experience. I interviewed my grandmother, and I really wanted to just tell her story simply. And a lot of it is just home movie footage and conversations and her story about coming to this country from the north of Portugal at the age of 16 and bringing relatives, saving for decades to bring relatives over, etc. And so, yeah.
And that got you some attention for that piece, which had to, I would imagine, feel pretty good. And
Yeah. Especially for its time. It came out in 2000, so
Right.
it's been a while. Yeah.
You've got a good memory.
Yeah.
Well,
that
let's
was
go-
around the time I met you, probably a little after, yeah.
Yeah. We've got a new piece, Slatersville, America's First Mill Village, and that's filming currently, so that's your current.
That's a very long-term documentary. There's a lot of ground to cover, and we're trying to cover the evolution of the first industrialized mill village in the country over the course of 200 years.
Wow.
So that takes time.
Yeah.
And we're digging stuff out of closets. I mean, there's a lot of things that, relics and archives that people have hiding away that just aren't known. And so it's really been a journey on top of a journey.
When you take on these journeys, as you call them, is it, you know what you're getting in for. I mean, this might be a year, 2 years, even more of your life. And as guys like myself and Tim and Brian Casey, our producer, Tim Labonte, our friend, it just takes so much dedication and perseverance, and I don't know if a lot of people understand that. Not that they couldn't, but
well, with documentaries, definitely. I mean, documentaries are 10, 15 times harder than narratives, even if they're shorts or features, because fictional stuff, there's a lot of work and editing and everything, but in documentary, you make the documentary in post,
right?
Providing it's shot well and you know what you're doing. So much work goes into the post-production of a documentary, and you form the narrative there. And so, with a regular script, it's a script. Scene 2 is before 3, and okay, just make it work, and you manipulate it that way. So I mean, I can't emphasize enough that documentaries are always far more challenging than just narrative work, because I almost feel like if you've done a few documentaries and you've learned how to edit better and present it better through the years, then aspects of fictional film feel like cake.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you'll be making a documentary and your head will just blow up, because you go into this thing before you shoot anything with maybe an outline or a sketch or just I want to, capture the making of apple seeds, or something ridiculous. And then by the end of the movie, you've got a whole movie about apple farmers in Idaho, in their war with orange peelers in Nebraska or something like that. And you just didn't know how that happened.
Well, yeah, you can stumble upon something like, Errol Morris, when he went to do the Thin Blue Line, he was trying to make a film on the psychologist who was talked about in the film.
Right.
And then he stumbled along the case. He had no intention of doing it about, so he was like, no, I want to work on that case. I don't want to work on this anymore. So that tends to happen.
The progress of the piece, it just evolves. It goes in all types of ways. Here's an interesting question.
Sure.
Now, someone, like I said, with the resume you have, and people can find your information on IMDb as well. And you have a website, is it Breaking Branches still?
BreakingBranchesPictures.com.
Okay, great. So people find your information and say, this guy's had a lot of success. But have you had any lack of success? We won't say failures, but lack of success that you've learned from. Maybe you can share those lessons with our audience, like, hey, don't do this, be careful of this.
Certainly. I always think of 41 when it comes to this, because 41 was a very difficult film emotionally.
Right.
And it really sort of tore into me by the end. And I think had my head been screwed on a little more straight, I probably would have made some better editorial decisions by the end of it.
Okay.
I literally wanted to just get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know, and I would change a lot. So and I knew that before going into Raising Maddie Christian, which was also going to be emotional. So
right.
I was kind of like, okay, you know, a step at a time. So if you get into emotional subject matter like that, especially if it's documentary, take your time, go slow,
right,
and just, you know, keep a level head. Know that somebody's going to pop at some point, whether it be you or your subjects or whatever, you know, and just go slowly.
Go slowly.
You get hopefully smarter with every film, and you don't try not to make not only product-based mistakes but technical mistakes.
My first couple of films, I would always look at them and say, uh-oh, that. Don't look at that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, with time, you still have that, but maybe a little bit less of a shot each time.
Mm-hmm. True.
What do you want to say to people who, like we always say to our audience, we have a little catchphrase at the end of the show that encourages people that want to get involved to get involved. What do you say to that would-be filmmaker, the young lady in college or the young man in high school or whoever, who are out there watching our show? And just what would you say to encourage them to give this a shot?
Well, I met Bryan Cranston years ago when he visited, and some bunch of students were asking him, like, should I act, should I do this? And he said, act for only one reason, if you have to.
Right.
So I always kind of stuck by that.
Yes.
Because I make films because, I mean, I've tried other things and they always backfire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, no, I'm meant to do this. So whether it be, and I've been blessed with the projects that have sort of come my way that have, you know, manifested and unfolded that way. So, you know, do it because you have to, you know, and get out there and be mobile, and don't sit on your butt waiting for it, but just be active and do it because you have to.
Live your truth, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book I always say, Laurent Terrard, Movie Maker's Masterclass. I don't know if you've had a chance to read that one, but
no.
You would like it. It's got a lot of good thoughts in this type of vein.
Uh-huh.
Anything else real quick you want to say? Any where you want to lead our audience if they want to look up more information for you? I know we said...
Sure. Well, Raising Maddie Christian is going to come out later this year.
Okay.
And we're always needing help on Slatersville, so firstmillvillage.com is the website for that project. And you know, we're planning other things later in the year that I'm not, obviously don't have the time to talk about now, but you know, also haven't really announced much. So there's always like 2 or 3 other projects that we're working on, and we're always doing, you know, video production at Breaking Branches.
Great. Christian de Resendez.
Yes, you got it.
Mike Messier.
Mike
still.
Messi.
Oh, you got me.
It's all right.
Thanks, Christian.
Thank you.
Right now, on Short Film Showcase, we want to take a look at Christian's Memories for Sale. Let's check out Memories for Sale, the teaser, right here on Short Film Showcase.
We've been through this before, okay? A couple of words out of him and it's in the bag.
In the bag? Can you see how nervous I am with him coming in here? He's a living legend.
Ta-da!
Mr. Sidney Freedman, I watched your show every Thursday night.
Tuesday nights, we were never on Thursday.
Oh, Tuesday. Well, it's an honor to finally meet you.
Papa, remember what we talked about?
Yeah, you said I was going to talk to Charlie.
And you said as long as Charlie's here.
Come on, let me hear it one more time.
I know what I have to do.
Humor me. It makes me feel all warm inside to hear it again.
I have a few more questions that I need to ask you, though.
Questions, a few more questions. God, it's 4 years already. You got more questions? We got a good book. We got a funny book. You're a good writer, Charlie.
You know what they want, Zeta. You need to sell this book. You need the money.
So tell me, my friend, are you good to my friend Charlie?
I watch out for his interests.
I didn't ask about his interest, and I'm sure you know all about his interests and his bank accounts
Grandpa.
and...
You are not the only one with something at stake here. Did you ever think about me?
I'm just a man. I'm just a tired old man with a secret. God, is there no privacy? Is there no dignity? Please, Charlie, allow me the dignity to go to my grave with my secret. What? It couldn't happen? It could never happen? Open up your eyes, Mr. Liberated Writer.
Welcome back to Short Film Showcase. We've had a very special episode with our guests, Christine Hunt and my friend Christian de Resendez. For everyone at Short Film Showcase, if you're out there thinking about making a short film or a feature-length film, a documentary, and you're wondering, how do I get involved? Gather some friends, write a script, get a camera, because if you can dream it, you can shoot it. I'm Mike Messier for Short Film Showcase.